Okay, we're here in our little greenhouse at Unity Gardens, kind of already getting overflowed this time of year with tomatoes and peppers and other plants we're going in here. It's the only greenhouse we keep warm. All the other greenhouses are unheated hoop houses. I just thought I'd go a couple tips on seed starting or actually after seed starting. So one of the first tips I'm going to give on seed starting is you always want to water your trays from the bottom, no matter what kind of tray you have. This is a solid tray that doesn't leak on the bottom, so we want to always water. I love something with a real small spout because I can just lift this up and I can water into the bottom. So that's how you want to water. You don't want to overwater and get things too soaking wet. Some of these ones that are a little different like this, they're, you can't really do anything but water from the bottom. But you definitely want to water from the bottom because you want to kind of keep the drier half dry, so it doesn't get all kinds of funguses. Also, with these types that are little peat pots, the roots are going after the air, and you can see they're really white, so that means they're healthy. So that's one of the tips, is definitely always water from the bottom. Another tip is to put a fan on. Somebody on Facebook asked the other day about how to keep your seedlings from getting leggy. Well, one of the things that you do is you get a fan. You can also brush your leggings, like your tomatoes, like this, to help sturdy them up, 10 times a day. But what I like to do is just put a really gentle fan on, and if you look, it blows and it moves it around a little bit, and that'll actually strengthen up the stalk on these. The other thing, the kind of interesting tip that a friend of ours gave it, Sue Kism, gave me this tip, and the tip was to use blinds. So we just really take old mini blinds, and to be honest, if you have to buy them, that's cheaper than buying markers. Just old mini blinds, and just cut them to the length that you want, and then you can use them as markers. Make sure that you're using a permanent marker to mark on them. But we mark all of our stuff with those after. Now I'll mark my whole trays with one marker, but then because in case something doesn't grow, I don't want to waste the marker. But just definitely write on it with a Sharpie marker. So the other thing, once they get to a larger size, it's going to be time to start transplanting. And if you planted them a little early, we really want to plant when it goes in the ground. We want it to be about 12 inches tall at the most. Usually about 8 inches is good. But I'm going to pull this one out because it's kind of easy to pull out. So what I'm going to do, first of all, even though they say this outside is biodegradable, I don't trust it. So I'm going to take my plant out. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to snip these bottom leaves off, or any leaves that are in the way. And so what I'm going to do is, just like in the ground outside, you plant it deep. So I got a little pot here, which is a little bigger than this. I'm going to sink this down as far down in as I can get it. Sometimes I'll even actually I put a little dirt in there first. Sometimes I won't even put dirt in there. And then I'll take the pot and I'll fill in around it, actually. Now, to be perfectly honest, I might have wanted to sink this one a little bit farther down, and leave a little out. And so I kind of do this judging on how early it is. So right now it's super early. So I probably would have wanted this tomato to only have just a teeny bit sticking up out of there. They'll re-root in there. So you want to, as you get closer to the season, you can maybe leave a little more out because it's going to grow. But this plant will be this tall, 12 inches tall by the time it's ready to go in the ground. So that's how we do. We also put these into a tray like this, where we water in the bottom also. So it's the same thing, but you definitely want to water that and mark it right away so you don't mix it up with other tomatoes. And that is all we got for tips today.